Okay guys, back again for part 2 of this water pump timing belt job. So the next step is that we have to put the engine on top dead center. Now that we already removed all the components and we're at this crucial moment, and this is the most crucial part for most of us, that we want to make sure that we don't mess up this job. So I'm going to show you the best and easiest way to do this method. The first thing, in order for us to put this on top dead center, what I like to do, I like to mark all these marks, so that way we can kind of get an idea. So I'm gonna mark here and here on this side, and if we come back on this side, let's see if I can move this temporarily. I'm gonna mark this on this bracket, and you could definitely see a small little indent here. I don't know if you can see that. And here at the bottom, I'm gonna go ahead and mark it here. And on the 0, and I'm gonna mark it here too. I'll tell you why in a bit. All right. So now that we marked that, we kind of have a reference point. And again, these are already indented there, but for those of us that need that visual aid, it's gonna help us out tremendously. So the next step is that we're gonna go ahead and put this on top dead center, and in order for us to do that, we have to align this mark to the 0 right here. And we also may have to make sure that these markings are right there on this side and on this side right there. You know what, let me just go ahead and give you guys a video. Alright, that's better. So we're gonna need a 22mm deep socket and a nice extended ratchet, and we're gonna go ahead and make sure that we're gonna rotate this clockwise. Do not go counterclockwise, do it clockwise. Some people like to remove the spark plugs for this. You can if you want to, but I just just rather just save some time and do it slowly. So let me go ahead and put this on top dead center for you guys. Just take your time, guys. Okay, so I'm getting closer here at the bottom. All right, so that's at 0, but do you guys remember that we had previously marked here on the sprockets? It's all the way here, so that's one revolution that we just did. So we're gonna do another revolution. I mean, one revolution is 2 of these. Sorry about that. So I'm gonna go again. Take your time, guys. Right, so if you can see, the little indentation here is on the 0, and on this side it's a little bit off, a tiny bit off. See this line, and how about here, right on the money. Like this. So once you have that set up, Toyota recommends to move this to the T mark here. And also this, we're gonna move it on this one. And the reason for that being so that way these, when you take the timing belt off, they don't jump off or they don't move around. So by putting it into the T here and here, they're gonna be locked, and it's not gonna be easily for them to move around. So let me go and do that for you guys. Okay, so we move that here, right there, and if you could tell, it's right there, and this is right on the money. I gotta make sure that when I remove this, I'm able to make sure it's right on the money. Okay guys, so the next step, we're going to remove the harmonic balancer. You will need a 22mm socket for this once you have that on top dead center. Now there are a couple ways you can remove this. If you have access to an impact gun, a powerful impact gun, this is a new Milwaukee 3/8 stubby impact gun. This has about 550 foot-pounds of breakaway torque. So if you have access to this, check this out. It's enough clearance to basically get this bad boy out of the way. This is one step of doing it, okay? Now if you don't have access to one of these, earlier in the video I had mentioned that you could actually use a nice breaker bar and a nice wrench to remove this. And basically what this actually goes in here like so, and there's two little grooves here. Basically these bolts, they actually go here, let me see if I can show you guys. So there are some washers. So the way this goes is we're going to go ahead and put these washers in here like so. And that harmonic balancer has two holes that you could screw these in. Here, let me see if I can show you those. See those two holes? One there and one there. So the benefit of having this tool is going to save you a lot of headaches. And the way it goes, you're going to go ahead and place it like this, and then you're going to put these bolts like so, and then this circle is going to give you enough clearance to put your breaker bar right there. And at the same time, this tool has a half inch where you could put your 1/2 inch either breaker bar, and you can hold it. It'll hold it on this side, and that's going to allow you to remove this, and it's going to give you that leverage so that way your harmonic balancer doesn't you know, move away. So this is one way. This is the second method of doing this. So let me go ahead, since I have access to the power tool here, let me go ahead and use that. But just wanted to show you guys the benefit of having a tool like this in use. So let me go ahead and zip this bad boy out so we can go to the next step, which is removing the harmonic balancer. And again, hopefully it'll come out by pushing it towards me, or if not, I'm gonna have to use a puller, and I'll show you how that goes as well. Okay, so let me go and do that real quick. I'm just gonna hold it here. One, two, three. I'm gonna go forward, go back again. Oh, there we go, guys. Best investment you can make. $199. It's going to save a lot of headaches. You see how stubby it is and compact. Good benefit of having this. All right, so since this moved, I'm just going to go ahead and put this back. I'm going to make sure I put this back on top dead center so that we can continue. Go, friends. All right, friends, so now the next step, we're going to go ahead and remove this harmonic balancer. I'm just taking out this bolt. There we go. And I'm hoping that it'll just kind of slide out. Ideally, that's what I would love for that to happen, but let's see. Okay, so there's a couple ways you can remove the harmonic balancer. You could use a very long, big long pry bar like this. And what you can do, and let me see if it come out on this side, you could put the pry bar, you could wedge it here, and then you can use that little bolt and just gingerly see if it moves. Let's see if it moves. I'm pushing it. It's not moving. And you could also use this bolt and just pry your pry bar in here and just lean it against. See if it moves. Nope. And I'm also using this bolt right there. Gingerly, I'm trying to see if I can move it, see if there's any movement, but I don't see anything at all. Nope, it's not budging, guys. And again, gingerly pry this out. All right, so if that didn't work, we're gonna go ahead and see if we can try using that puller I had mentioned earlier. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and start this bad boy up. And the puller should come with a couple bolts. And I'm gonna choose the best one that would fit that harmonic balancer. So this is what I'm gonna do next. Actually, you know what? I think I might use these bolts. Let me see if they'll fit this. Yes, that's perfect. They'll fit that. Okay. So my plan is I'm gonna use a 22mm socket. 22. The reason for that being is because the harmonic balancer, see how it has that that inner I'm gonna put the actual socket here, and I'm gonna push against the socket once I put the puller, so that way this could go ahead and prevent that this screw to go all the way inside. All right, so we're gonna do that real quick. Be right back. All right, guys, so just wanted to show you how this setup's gonna go. So I went and go ahead and screw these bolts in the harmonic balancer. I'm gonna try to get you the information what size, so that we can kind of have an idea. And I'm gonna use the 22mm socket, and I'm gonna put it right in the middle. And then I'm gonna go ahead and screw this inside. And I'm gonna go ahead and continue to screw it all the way inside, while at the same time trying to hold that 22mm socket, so that way that that screw doesn't go inside. Just enough to hold it on. I'm just holding it in place while I'm putting the screw inside. And I want to make sure that the puller, it's right in the center, like so. Let me give you guys a close-up. You see how that nut, it's against the actual inner, I don't know what you call it, sprocket. And this is the setup, guys. Can you have an idea? And I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that I'm gonna get a ratchet and start ratcheting this out, so that way the harmonic balance should come out. So I'm gonna do that real quick. All right, guys, I'm using a long 14mm wrench, so that way I can get that puller going. Let's go ahead and let the puller do its magic. I don't know if you can see the harmonic balancer moving towards me. Let me give you guys a closer look. See that? It's coming out little by little. See that? Just take your time, guys. Be patient with this step. Now it looks like it's moving this on the side, but actually it's already out of the key. I'll show you what I'm talking about right now once it's out. Okay, I think that's enough. Let's see if it'll come out. Do a couple more turns. You know, that socket helped out tremendously. There we go. Oops. Let me get it before it falls. All right. Here we go. So these are the actual bolts that were used. And again, let me get that socket for you guys. This socket was basically used to put this here. That way that puller doesn't go inside this hole and damage the threads. That's the reason why I use that. All right, so now that we have that away, let's go to the next step, guys. So since I have the harmonic balancer out of the truck, I wanted to kind of revisit this tool again. This tool, if you didn't have an impact to remove the harmonic balancer, this is where the tool would have come in handy. For example, you're gonna go ahead and line up this. You're gonna put the threads inside here. You're gonna put the bolt, and then you're gonna put the other bolt in the harmonic balancer thread, like so. And this tool, you'll tighten it all the way down, and this is where you would have had the bolt inside, and you would use a breaker bar to turn this, but at the same time you'd be holding this with the 1/2 inch breaker bar as well, so that we can get a proper leverage and unbolt this. Just wanted to revisit this since we didn't get a chance to use it, since I had access to the impact gun. Hopefully this helps you guys out visualize it. All right, so the next step, we're going to go remove the timing cover here. It's basically held on by 4 10mm bolts. One's here. Another one, it's right there. The other one's right here. And then the other one, it's all the way down here. Let me see if I get you a better picture. Right there. So I'm going to remove that. All right, and we're going to go to remove that cover, like so. And we definitely need to deep clean this cover. And it's going to give us access to a little bit more that we have to clean up. And this is also a good time to inspect the crankshaft. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me give you guys a close up. This is a crankshaft sensor, which I am definitely going to replace. I'm totally surprised this truck never gave me a check engine light. Look how dirty that is. And I'm just going to disconnect it from here. Get these tabs out of the way. I'm going to push that up. But that's going to go ahead and give us a access for the next step, which is we're going to go ahead and remove the tensioner, which is right here. Right here. This right here. So it's held on by 2 10mm bolts, one here and one on the other side. I don't know if you guys can see that. Right here. And we're going to alternately loosen them up. We're going to alternately loosen it up. We're going to do a little bit here, and then we're going to go back here, and that's going to allow us to remove the actual timing belt. So I'm going to show you how that looks like. All right, guys, so for this I'm going to use a Astro Nano quarter ratchet, and I actually want to do a correction. The tensioner is actually a 12mm bolt. There's two. There's one here and one there. And the way I'm going to take them out, I'm going to go loosen it up one by one, and I'm going to go sideways so that way we can take out that that belt. So let me give you guys a close-up what I'm doing. Bear with me. Let's see if I could come here real quick. Just gonna do a couple turns here. Hopefully you guys can see that. And this one, a couple turns as well. And this is why I'm using this setup. Nice leverage. There we go. I'm gonna go back here, loosen this up. guys. Take your time. They're pretty long, so be patient, or they will come out. I could have used my ratchet, but because of the space, I want to be mindful, and I don't want to rush this part just because sometimes, depending on where you live, these could be really stuck in there. And the least thing you want is to have to, that's going to be, break these off. And so let me go ahead and finish removing these. These should actually already pop out. And they are pretty long, and they are the same size, guys, so you don't have to worry about this is a little bit stubborn, but it's gonna come out. There we go. And then this should basically fall down, and it's not because of the gunkiness of the water pump liquid. All right. So if you wanted to, you can reuse this tensioner. You'd have to kind of put it in a vise, and you have to compress this in, and you're gonna need like a little tiny either nail or a pin to put it in place, so that way once you compress it, it can stay in place. But my kit came with the new one, so I'm just gonna go ahead and install a new one. All right, so the next step, we're gonna move this little plate. If you can see, it's keyed in, so you don't have to worry about messing it back or making a different, putting it backwards. Just remember the direction of this. This is facing outside, and all we're gonna do is just gonna go ahead and slightly pry it out, like so. Like this. And I'm just gonna go ahead and clean that out, get all that gunkiness, all that coolant that's basically stuck, like this. So I'm gonna put this here, and then since we removed the the tensioner, basically all you have to do is just remove the belt, just unslack it, and we should be good. But let me go ahead and, before I remove it, let me go ahead and just clean around it, just because it's just a lot of gunk in here. Let me go ahead and do that real quick. All right, guys, so I'm basically using a wire brush to clean this out. But now that I cleaned a little bit of the gunkiness, we're gonna go and remove the belt. And again, we already removed the tensioner, and it should basically be loose. See that? And we're just gonna, I mean, you could start anywhere you want, but I think I'm gonna start here. Just make my way. And again, it's probably stuck just because of the coolant. I'm just gingerly being very careful and mindful. Try and move this out of the way. It's stuck over here because it's a lot of gunk. Just take your time. There we go. And again, this is a good time to inspect this. Obviously, I'm not going to be reusing this, but you know, this was replaced about 40,000 miles. It's still good, but I'm not going to go ahead and reinstall it just because of all the coolant that's been soaked in. So we're going to go ahead and just put that aside. And that kind of gives you a better picture of, you know, what we had to do and what we're going to go ahead and clean. But I'm going to go ahead and clean it as I go. But the next step, we're going to actually install these two little guys. All right, so let me go and remove those. All right, guys, so the next step, we're going to go ahead and remove the idle pulleys. This is idle pulley number 1, idle pulley number 2. For this, we're going to go ahead and remove this nut. This is a 10 hex socket. Let me go ahead and get that out of the way here. There is a small little backing we're gonna go ahead and remove. Just don't lose the little washer in the back. This is the washer right here. You see all that crud of the coolant, but if we turn it this way, this is what needs to be removed. Don't forget that this is going to go in the back. So I mean, we could go ahead and inspect this. I could definitely tell it's really bad. All right, and don't forget to clean this out really good. Doesn't matter what way it goes, but I'm definitely gonna have to remove this real quick. Do that. Let's see if I could. Oh, I have to use my 2 hands to do this real quick. So let me take this out real quick, and then we'll come back. All right, guys. So this is the bolt, the hex bolt that you have to take out. So I'm gonna clean this out because it's pretty gunky. But the new one, we're gonna go ahead and reuse this one and put it in here like so with the new idler. All right, so we have one idler down, and then we have another one to go. This one right here. All right, guys, so we're gonna take idler number 2 out, and this is a 14 millimeter bolt. Just gonna take it out real quick. It's pretty long, guys. Make sure you don't drop it. This is what it looks like. And this one doesn't have a washer. It's just a pulley itself. But this is the 14 millimeter bolt that we're going to take out. All right, guys. So this next step, I'm just going to go and take the time to clean all this. It's a lot of crud, a lot of, you know, things that I have to make sure that when I install everything back. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that for the time being, and then once we come back, we're gonna go to remove that water pump. All right, so I'm going to get to that. All right, guys, so just in case you wanted to remove your crankshaft sensor, I'm gonna remove mine just because it's pretty dirty, and I'm just gonna go ahead and replace this as I'm here. All you do is here in the back, there's a little clip. Just push it, and this should push up like so. And then there is a 10 millimeter nut back here. I already loosened that up. Just remove it. Like so. There you go. Don't lose it. And then this should just pop out like so. See that? And this is why I'm gonna replace it. I just don't want to risk it. I could just clean it up, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna be hitting myself if this would ever fail. All right, guys. So I'm gonna go back and clean this up. It's looking good so far. I put some degreaser on that, and that way we can continue to the next step, which is removing that water pump. So let me go ahead and finish cleaning this up, and then we'll come back. Okay, so the next step, we're gonna go and remove the water pump. I did go ahead and take a moment to clean everything up. I put a little bit of degreaser on everything, all the areas, so that way I can give you guys a more visual what we're gonna do. So the water pump itself is held in by 5 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's also held down by a nut, and it's also held in by 2 studs, one here, one there. And once we remove those, we're going to go ahead and try to break free the water pump. You can use a little pry bar to kind of pry it out, or hopefully I could just pull it out and see if that would come out. But before we do, there is this little plastic, I want to say protected cap. We're going to go ahead and remove this like so, and just don't forget to put it back when it's time to install everything in order, and it goes right here. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you guys what that looks like real quick. There we go. And this is a 14 millimeter bolt. So that's one. I'm sorry, this is a 12 millimeter bolt. 2. And I'm gonna get this third one. Give me 1 second here. And here's another one. Let me see if I could give you guys a better angle here. Right here. Okay. And here's the 4th one. And here's the 5th one. Right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and also remove this one. This is the nut. And next, I'm gonna go ahead and remove these nuts here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and remove this stud and this stud. And I believe that's gonna be a 12 millimeter. So let me go ahead and get that here for you guys. And just don't forget to put these back in place. And again, as you can see, the water pump is already leaking, so that tells me that this is going to come out really smoothly. So let me go ahead and remove those real quick, and then we'll come back. All right, guys, just want to point something out. All the water pump bolts are the same size, so you don't have to worry about putting them in different orders. Also, the actual studs, they're also the same size, so you don't have to worry about messing that up. Okay, just want to point that out. So now that we have that those studs and also the bolts out, all we're gonna do, we're gonna gingerly pull the water pump out. And I'm hoping, there we go, make sure you have a good catch pan, catch all that water, that coolant. And there's gonna be a little tube here that has an O-ring, and we're gonna be very careful when we pull this out, okay? Let me see if I can do this with 2 hands and show you guys what that looks like. Bear with me. And it's right here, that little tube. I don't know if you guys could see that right here. Go ahead and pull that out. It's gonna be a little bit tricky, but trust me, it will come out. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can put you guys at a stand and see and show you guys what that looks like. But all right, see how it's already disconnected from the block. Oh, there we go. See that? So we're gonna go ahead and pull this bad boy out, and the seal should be in the back as well. Oh, you know what, guys? I totally forgot to take this other nut. And it should come out like so. And this is the water pump. This is the corporate. This is why we did all this job to remove this. And let's see if I can kind of get you guys where it failed. I could definitely hear the bearing here. Give me 1 second, guys. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but it's definitely had better days. All right, so now that we removed the water pump, let me put this here aside. Now we're gonna go ahead and focus on making sure that we clean the mating surface here. You can use a blade or a gasket remover. Make sure you get all of that cleaned up. So I'm gonna do that real quick, and don't forget to take out this O-ring, because the new water pump came with the O-ring kit and the kit. So we're gonna remove that with the pick and then put a new one. All right, so let me go to clean this up and then we'll continue. Okay guys, so the next step, now that you already cleaned in your mating surface really good, we're gonna go and start to install everything. I'm gonna do the best to provide you the torques according to the service manual. So let's go and get started, guys. So the acing kit came with everything you need. It came with the O-rings. We're gonna set them right there. And it came with the gasket. So this is dummy proof, friends. There's no way to mess this up. There's only one way that this goes. So let's go and install that real quick. And basically you want to make sure that you kind of maneuver it, put it on those you put on this stud and this stud, and then here it has a little bit of a groove. Make sure that it's nice and flush, okay, especially when you're going to install the water pump. But for now we're going to place that there, and then we're going to go and remove this O-ring. So let me go get a tool for this, and then we'll continue. All right, friends, so we're going to go ahead and use a pick to get this little O-ring out of here. Just take your time as you do this. See how old and brittle it is? Ripped it right off. So the new one, this one, you're gonna go ahead and, I'm gonna put a little bit of grease, just a tiny bit, just so that way when I put the water pump, it could seep flush. So let me go and do that real quick. All right, guys, so I put a little bit of grease on this, just so that way it's easier when I install the water pump. So all I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go ahead and push it in here with my fingers, and that grease really helped it slide in like so. See that? Nice and seated. All right, so the next step, friends, we're gonna go ahead and install the water pump. Let me go and get that water pump here. Go ahead and open this bad boy and then install it for you guys. Okay, friends, so I'm gonna go ahead and install the water pump. So basically it's nothing to it, just align the water pump in these brackets. Give me 1 second. Let me get this bracket right there. bracket right there, and then slide it in. And again, remember the back gasket, make sure it's seated nice and flush in the block. And then right now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put the camera on the tripod, and I'm gonna use my two hands to push this in there. And I did go ahead and put a little bit of grease on the O-ring, so that way it could slide in smoothly. And again, let me see if I actually, you know what, let me see if I can do this with, show you guys how to, it's in action real quick. So again, I'm gonna focus more on the tube so that we can go inside the water pump. Okay. You know what, let me use two hands so that way I can make sure it's all the way inside. You see how it's slid in easily? And this is why it's important to put a little bit of grease on that O-ring. And I'm just gonna make sure that I'm gonna go around, make sure that the gasket's nice and flush as well. Like so. And also I could tell here. But my main importance is for that O-ring to be nice and flush. So I'm gonna continue to make sure it's nice and pried inside. Everything looks good. All right, so the next step, we're gonna go ahead and install everything, guys. Again, I'm gonna provide the torques per the service manual. That way you guys follow along, okay? There we go, guys. Okay, so I installed the 5 bolts on the water pump. 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and then the 5th one right here. And then I also installed that nut. And I'm also putting these studs in here. And according to the service manual, these studs, this one and this one, they're going to be torqued at 13 foot-pounds. Again, 13 foot-pounds, this one and this one. And then the other 5 bolts that's holding the water pump, they're going to be torqued at 15 foot-pounds. Even this nut right here. Okay, so let me go ahead and use my torque wrench and torque this water pump down. And again, this is going to be torqued at 13 foot-pounds. All right, so let me go ahead and do that real quick. And what I like to do, I like to first start off with I'm just gonna time these just by hand, but I like to start off with just snuggle them in, not torquing them yet, because I want to first torque the water pump itself. So again, let's go ahead and torque these to 15 foot-pounds, and then we'll torque these back. So let me go do that real quick. All right, guys, so what I like to do a crisscross pattern for the water pump. So again, the 5 bolts are going to be at 15 foot-pounds. That's 1. 2. 3. 4. Oh, I lost you guys. Sorry about that. Get you guys back in the tripod. This is the 5th bolt. And the nut. Okay, so again, the next step, we're going to go ahead and torque these to 13 foot-pounds. Let me adjust my torque wrench here All right, 13 foot-pounds. Okay. All right, let's go to the next step, guys. All right, guys, so next step, we're gonna go install the little cover that we had taken off. And basically it goes this way. And just slide it in here, like so. Like that. Very important step, guys. Sometimes these little steps could easily be forgotten, but this is very important and crucial, so that way no dust or any type of gunk could kind of come in and get inside here. So make sure it's nice and snug. All right, so the next step, we're going to go ahead and start installing the idlers. Remember, we have an idler that we took out here and there, so let me go ahead and get those real quick. All right, guys, so the first idler, we're going to go ahead and remove the old bolt on this old one, and we're going to go ahead and get the new one. And basically we're just going to go ahead and transfer this bolt into here, and this one we're going to go ahead and place it on this side, and we're going to go hand tying it. And then according to the service manual, this is going to be torqued to 25 foot-pounds. So let me go ahead and put this on, and then we'll continue. All right, guys, so again, according to the service manual, this is going to be torqued at 25 foot-pounds. All right, the next one. Okay, and we're going to install the second idler. Just make sure that you put the bolt in here, and don't forget that there's a washer. And I'm going to go ahead and use this washer. And this side, this one's going to go facing this side on the tensioner side. So we're just going to go ahead and screw this in here with the washer, and we're going to go ahead and torque this according to the service manual. It's going to be torqued at 25 foot-pounds. Okay, so let me go and do that real quick, and then we'll come back. All right, here we go, guys. Twenty-five foot-pounds. That should be it. And just make sure that when you install them, they should be able to move freely like this. This one as well. And they should also move like this. All right. Look how beautiful that moves. All right, guys, let's go to the next step. Okay, so we're gonna have to do a part 3 on this repair video series, just the fact that I have to go to work. But stay tuned, guys. Part 3 is going to come up, and we're going to go ahead and install the timing belt, and we're going to go ahead and put everything back to specs. Stay tuned, guys.